Okay. Okay, well, okay, if you replace, well, if x equals 3, then this is 2 to the 3 squared, right? Now, what do you do first, 2 to the 3rd or 3 squared?
3 squared. 3 squared.
Yeah, you're going to do the 3 squared, but that's, you got an exponent and an exponent, right? So your order of operations doesn't actually tell you which exponent to do first, does it? Okay, but 2 to the 3 squared there's an implicit parentheses on your exponent, okay? So you're going to evaluate this exponent before you raise it to the second power. Doesn't mean this, okay? But without knowing that, if you did this, that would have, yeah, and a couple of you did that. That's as good an answer as this is until I explain that, okay? But the exponent is automatically in parentheses, okay? So 2 to the 3 squared is 2 to the 9th, which is 512. Fairly easy to keep multiplying by 2, but it's easy to make a mistake, so if you got something else. Okay. Now, if you did 2 to 3rd squared, eight squared, that'd be 64. Very different answer. Okay? And this would correspond to the function, put parentheses around 2 to the x, and then square that, right? Okay? It kind of depends where your parentheses are. Okay. Now the point is there are 2 steps in evaluating this, right? Okay? You got to first square x, then you got to raise 2 to that power. And this is a combination of the squaring and exponential function, right? Okay? So I'm going to introduce a little notation and ask you to figure this out. Okay? We're going to say f of x is g of h of x, where g of x is 2 to the x, and h of x is x squared. Okay, so let's see. What's g of h of x equal to? 2 ways you could write out what g of h of x is. Okay? So you could either substitute h of x for x here, okay? Or you could substitute x squared for h of x, right? So there are 2 things you could write there. You could write Alternatively, I said also, I should have said alternatively, okay? G of h of x, you take the h of x and substitute it for x here, you get 2 to the h of x, right? Okay? So you could either replace h of x by x squared, or replace the x in g of x by h of x. They both make sense. Doesn't matter which you do, actually. Okay? You're going to get the same thing in both cases. So I'm going to show that. Okay? What's g of x squared? How do you write out what g of x squared is? Now again, if you didn't do the problem I gave you in composites last time, which everybody seemed to be in shape to do when we did it in class, okay? You're going to have a lot more trouble with this than you would if you had. Okay? Okay. So anyhow, what's g of x squared? We go back to the definition of g of x. What do? You replace x by x squared. If you haven't internalized that idea with functions, which you would have, you know, because people who did it pretty much did it right, okay? Then you're maybe having trouble with this. You're going to have to take 2 steps to understand this rather than 1. So make sure you stay up with the homework. Okay, g of x squared is 2 to the x squared. I mean, you plug in x squared here instead of x, and you're going to do the same here, right? Replace x by x squared. I'm not going to keep explaining that. It was totally explained last time and people got it. If you've lost it, you're going to have to get it back. So I just said it. You know where to look because you're taking notes of what I'm doing and where to look, right? Okay. Or you could say 2 to the h of x is, well, h of x is x squared. So that for g of x equals 2 to the x and h of x equals x squared, g of h of x is 2 to the x squared, no matter in which order you do your substitution. Okay? So I'm going to ask you in a minute, after we look at the inverse for the x squared graph, I'm going to do g of h of x, for h of x is 1 over x, g of x equals x cubed. Follow this pattern, so see how it works out. Okay? Okay, then over here, table an inverse for y equals x squared. Well, your table, you got x, you got y, equals x squared, -2, -1. I'm going to do an abbreviated table. I'm going to leave off the 1/2 because I don't have a lot of room, but you would include. Okay, you can't leave those off. Okay, but just for illustration. Reverse the table. And you get this. Okay? Okay. So if I come up to this table and take a number here, okay? So we start with 1/2 and we get 1/8, okay? Then we take 1/8 and we see where 1/8 is in this column, and what do we get over here? We get 1/2, right? Okay. Just want to see that pattern. Does that pattern hold down here? What number do you want to start with? We start with a number here. So we start here, go to this number, we get this number, we go to this number, and we see that these numbers match. Okay? So tell me what number you want to start with over here.
2.
2. Okay? So here's 2. And we go to 4, right? Then what number do you want to go to? Well, this number has to be fed into this column, right? So what number do we have to go to?
4.
Got to go to 4. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so we go to 4. And then what do we get? Well, what's next to that 4?
-2.
-2. Does this match this? Okay. Is there another way we could have done this that would have matched? Well, yeah, I chose to go to this 4 to make a point, but I could have gone to this one, and then I would have gotten, if I'd have written down the right number there, I would have gotten 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay? Peripheral vision got me again. Okay? If you found that confusing, I do apologize. Wrote that down carelessly. So we could have made it match, but we could also make it so it doesn't match, right? Understand that idea? Okay? Well, we're going to maybe do something with that, but what I want you to do right now is see if you do this. I'm sorry?
I didn't do it right.
Well, let's see if you did it right. Well, no, you
I
wrote,
didn't.
first of all, you didn't write an equal between f of x and g of h of x, right?
Okay.
But then you want to start with the expression g of h of x equals what? Okay? And just use function notation to see what g of h of x is equal. Let me think about it. Getting that one?
Not really.
Okay, well, when I did that, then what's the first thing I did there? Purple might not be the best color. It's a little hard to read. I can read it, but I know what I wrote, so. So my next step says g of h of x equals, okay? So I've given you this, so we're here, right? Now we go here. So you want to write out g of h of x equals, but of course, you're not going to write g of x squared because h of x isn't x squared, is it? Okay, so imitate what I did. Just write out the same things, but use these functions instead of the ones I did. Okay, you're missing another thing. So I said h of x is 1 over x. Okay. Now you got your h of x, but that would be good. Okay, well, h of x is g of x cubed. And, okay, but x cubed is g of x. Okay? So that would be g of x. You gotta replace h of x with what h of x is, which is kind of what you did here for your okay? So you're on track. Okay, now, you can do h of g of x. Go ahead. Actually, I think it's supposed to be g of h of x, but you can do h of g of x. So go ahead and do that. It's going to come out the same either way in this case. Now, write it out the other way, because I've only got two different ways, right? Well, you've got g of h of x. You're making a leap, or you didn't put a leap in the right direction. Okay. What did I do? In the first step, I wrote the g with whatever h of x was, right? Yeah. Okay. Y'all having some trouble with this. Why is this on?